Once you hit $10,000, here's exactly what to do next. Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome back to David Invests. If you're new here, this channel is all about breaking down money in a way that actually makes sense for regular people. No complicated jargon, no get-rich-quick nonsense. Just real, honest, practical information that you can actually use starting today. And if you've been watching for a while, thank you. Seriously. The comments and the messages you guys send mean everything. Keep them coming. Now, today's video is one I've been wanting to make for a long time because there is a massive gap in the personal finance conversation that almost nobody is talking about. Everyone talks about how to save your first $10,000. There are thousands of videos, articles, and Instagram posts dedicated to that milestone. And that's great. Getting to $10,000 is genuinely hard and it deserves to be celebrated. But here's the problem. The moment you actually hit that number, everyone goes completely silent. Nobody tells you what comes next. Nobody walks you through the actual steps in the actual order you're supposed to take them. And that silence is expensive because what you do in the first 90 days after hitting $10,000 determines whether that money becomes the foundation of something real or just the biggest number you ever had in your account before life quietly took it back. So today that changes. I'm going to walk you through exactly what to do after you hit $10,000, step by step, in the right order, with real numbers and real examples so you can actually follow along and apply this to your own situation. Let's get into it. Before I give you the steps, I want to introduce you to two people because I find that real stories make this stuff stick in a way that bullet points never do. First, meet Chris, 28 years old, delivery driver in Phoenix, Arizona, makes about $41,000 a year before taxes. Chris is sharp, motivated, and genuinely hungry to change his financial situation. He watched his parents stress about money his entire childhood and made a quiet promise to himself that his story was going to be different. It took Chris 14 months of serious, uncomfortable discipline to save his first $10,000. No vacations, no new clothes, no going out on weekends, just grinding, stacking, and watching that number slowly climb until it finally hit 5 digits for the first time in his life. Now meet Priya, 31 years old. She works in hospital administration in Dallas, Texas. Makes about $48,000 a year. Priya is careful, analytical, and the kind of person who researches everything before she makes a move. She has been mentally preparing for this $10,000 moment for 2 years, thinking about it, planning for it, imagining what she would do when she finally got there. She hit the number about 3 weeks after Chris did. 2 different people, 2 different cities, 2 different jobs and salaries, both staring at the exact same $10,000 balance on their phone screen, asking themselves the exact same question. Now what? Here's where their stories split. And I want you to pay close attention here because this is the part that matters. Their stories don't split because one of them makes a catastrophically bad decision. They split because one of them knows the order of operations and one of them doesn't. And in personal finance, the order you do things matters just as much as the things you actually do. So let's talk about the order of operations, because this is the framework that changes everything. Most people treat $10,000 like one big pile of money with one big decision to make. Do I invest it? Do I save it? Do I pay off debt? Do I split it somehow and do a little of everything? That framing is the first mistake, because $10,000 is not one decision. It is 4 separate decisions made in a specific sequence. Get the sequence wrong and you either leave thousands of dollars on the table, expose yourself to risk you didn't need to take, or solve the wrong problem first while the right problem keeps getting worse in the background. Here's the sequence, and I genuinely want you to write this down. If you're watching this somewhere, you can do that. Step 1, identify what you actually have. Step 2, protect it correctly. Step 3, eliminate the right debt first. Step 4, plant the seed and let it run. 4 steps, in that exact order, every time. No skipping, no rearranging, no jumping straight to step 4 because it's the exciting one. Chris heard about this framework and wrote it on a sticky note on his bathroom mirror. Priya worked through it carefully over 2 weekends with a notebook and a calculator. And 2 years later, they are in 2 very different financial positions. Not because one of them is smarter, not because one of them earns dramatically more money, but because one of them followed the sequence and one of them skipped straight to the investing part without doing the groundwork first. Let's walk through each step together right now. Step 1 is identify what you actually have. Before you move a single dollar, before you open a single investment account, before you make a single decision about what to do with your $10,000, you need to get completely honest about your full financial picture. I know this step sounds boring. I know it's not the exciting part, but I promise you it is the most important part. Because you cannot make good decisions about money you have until you understand the full context of the money situation you're actually in. Here's exactly what you need to know before you make a single move. What is your actual monthly take-home income after taxes and after any deductions? Not your salary, your actual take-home number, the amount that hits your account every month. What are your fixed monthly expenses? Rent, utilities, car payment, insurance, phone bill, subscriptions, everything that comes out whether you like it or not. What is your total debt situation? And I mean everything. Every credit card balance, every interest rate, every student loan, every personal loan, written down in one place where you can actually see the full picture. And finally, what does your monthly cash flow actually look like right now? After your income comes in and your expenses go out, are you adding to savings every month, or are you basically breaking even? Chris did this exercise and discovered something that honestly surprised him. He had $10,000 saved, but he also had $4,200 sitting on a credit card, charging him 24% interest that he had been making minimum payments on for almost 2 years. He knew the card was there. He just hadn't connected the dots on what that interest rate was actually costing him in real dollars every single month. Priya did the same exercise and found a much cleaner picture. No high interest debt, a stable monthly surplus, a clear runway ahead of her with no landmines buried underneath. Same starting balance, completely different situations underneath it. And that difference changes everything about what each of them should do next. This is why step 1 is non-negotiable. You need the full picture before you make a single move. Step 2 is protect it correctly. Once you know your full financial picture, step 2 is making sure your $10,000 is protected the right way before you do anything else with it. And this step comes down to one critical idea that I cannot emphasize enough. Your emergency fund and your wealth seed are two completely different things with two completely different jobs, and they should never ever live in the same account. Let me explain what I mean. Your emergency fund is your safety net. It is the money that exists to protect you when life gets unpredictable. And life always gets unpredictable. Car repairs, medical bills, job loss, unexpected expenses. These things don't ask for your permission before they show up. Your emergency fund is what keeps a bad month from turning into a financial catastrophe. The rule of thumb that most financial experts agree on is 3 to 6 months of your essential expenses. Not your lifestyle expenses, your essentials. Rent, utilities, groceries, transportation, insurance, the things that keep you housed, fed, and employed if everything falls apart at once. For Chris in Phoenix, running through his numbers, that came out to about $4,500. 3 months of bare essentials. For Priya in Dallas, with slightly higher fixed costs, it was closer to $5,500. Now here's the part most people miss. That emergency fund needs to live in a high-yield savings account, not your regular savings account that earns you a fraction of a percent. A high-yield savings account at a reputable online bank, and there are several great ones out there, will currently earn you somewhere between 4 and 5% annually on money that is still completely accessible within a day or two if you need it. That is not an investment. It is not going to make you rich. It is simply your safety net earning something real instead of sitting there losing value to inflation while it waits. Chris moved $4,500 into a high-yield savings account and gave it one label: emergency only. Not vacation money, not car fund money, not I'll put it back next month money. Emergency only, full stop. Priya did the same with $5,500. Now here's what this moment actually means. After step 2, both of them have a real protected safety net earning real interest. And whatever money is left over, $5,500 for Chris and $4,500 for Priya, is now officially their wealth seed. Money with a completely different mission, money with a job, money that is no longer the same pile as the emergency fund and can never be casually raided on a bad Friday night. That separation alone, that single act of giving each pile a different name and a different account, is one of the most powerful financial moves most people never make. Step 3 is eliminate the right debt first. This is the step that separates people who actually build wealth from people who invest enthusiastically for years and somehow never seem to get ahead. And the key word in step 3 is the right debt, because not all debt is the same. Not all debt deserves the same urgency. And treating all debt the same way is one of the most common and costly mistakes in personal finance. Here's the simple framework I want you to use. Any debt with an interest rate above 7%, attack it aggressively before you invest a single dollar beyond your employer match. Because no reliable investment strategy consistently beats a guaranteed return of 10, 15, 20%. And paying off a credit card charging you 24% interest is exactly that. A guaranteed 24% return on every dollar you put toward it. You cannot beat that in the stock market. Not reliably. Not over the short term. Any debt below 4% interest. This is what people call cheap money. Pay your minimum, keep investing. The market will likely outperform that interest rate over the long run, and you come out ahead by investing the difference. Debt that falls between 4 and 7%, this is the gray zone. It's a judgment call based on your personal comfort level, your timeline, and how much the debt is affecting your mental well-being. There is no universally right answer here. For Chris, this was a completely clear decision. He had $5,500 left after his emergency fund. He had $4,200 on a credit card at 24%. He paid off the card in full. Done. Gone. No more $84 a month in interest quietly leaving his account while he slept. That single move immediately freed up $84 a month in cash flow, which he immediately automated into his investment account every single month without thinking about it again. For Priya, there was no high-interest debt to eliminate, so she moved straight to step 4 with her full $4,500 wealth seed ready to deploy. Chris arrived at step 4 with $1,300, less money than Priya on paper, but with zero high-interest debt, $84 a month in newly freed cash flow, and a completely clean financial foundation with nothing bleeding underneath it. Two very different paths leading to the same destination. Step 4 is plant the seed and let it run. And here is what I need you to understand before we talk about the specific accounts and the specific funds. The most important investing decision you will ever make in your entire life is not which stock to pick. It is not which fund has the best 5-year track record. It is not timing the market or finding the next big thing before everyone else does. The most important investing decision you will ever make is simply this: start and then don't stop. That is it. Consistency and time beat strategy almost every single time for regular people who are not professional traders managing hundreds of millions of dollars. The math on this is not even close. So where does the money actually go? Let me walk you through the order. First, if your employer offers a 401k with a matching contribution, that match comes first, always, before anything else. 100% match on your contributions up to a certain percentage is the single best guaranteed return available to any regular investor anywhere on earth. It is literally free money your employer is offering you. Capture every single dollar of it before you put money anywhere else. Second, after you have captured your full employer match, the next best place for most people in Chris and Priya's income range is a Roth IRA. And I want to take a moment here because a lot of people have heard of Roth IRAs, but don't really understand why they're so powerful. With a Roth IRA, you contribute money that you've already paid taxes on, your normal after-tax income. Your money then grows completely tax-free inside the account. And when you withdraw it in retirement, you pay absolutely zero taxes on it. Zero. On potentially hundreds of thousands of dollars or more, depending on how long you let it grow. That is an extraordinary deal, and most people walk right past it because nobody ever explained it to them clearly enough. Third, inside that Roth IRA, keep it simple. A total market index fund or an S&P 500 index fund. Low fees. Broad diversification across hundreds or thousands of companies. Historically reliable long-term returns averaging around 10% per year going back decades. You do not need to be clever. You do not need to pick winning stocks. You do not need to understand technical analysis or read earnings reports. You need to be consistent and patient. That is the whole strategy for most regular investors, and it genuinely works. Chris invested his remaining $1,300 into a Roth IRA and immediately set up an automatic monthly contribution of $184. The $84 he freed up by paying off the credit card, plus another $100 he carved out of his regular budget. Automatic. Every payday. Before he ever felt the money in his hands. Priya invested her full $4,500 into a Roth IRA and set up a $200 automatic monthly contribution on top of that seed. Neither of them touched it again. That was the plan. That was the whole plan. Now let me show you what those two simple plans actually produce over time, because this is the part that makes it feel real. This is the part that makes you understand why starting matters so much more than the amount you start with. Chris, starting with $1,300 in a Roth IRA, contributing $184 every month at a 10% average annual return, which is the historical average of the S&P 500 over the last several decades. After 10 years, roughly $40,000. After 20 years, around $145,000. After 30 years, over $380,000. On a delivery driver salary, without a single individual stock pick, without time in the market, without watching charts or following financial news every day. Just consistent monthly contributions into a simple index fund left completely alone to compound. Priya, starting with $4,500, contributing $200 every month, same 10% average return. After 10 years, roughly $52,000. After 20 years, around $175,000. After 30 years, over $430,000. $10,000. Also on a regular salary. Also without anything complicated. Also without any special advantage or insider knowledge. These two people, both of whom grew up without financial advantages, both of whom nobody handed anything to, both of whom figured this out on their own, are on track to retire with more money than the overwhelming majority of Americans will ever accumulate in their lifetimes. Not because they got lucky, not because they earned extraordinary salaries, not because they found some secret investment strategy nobody else knows about, because they followed the sequence, in the right order, left it alone, and let time do what time does better than anything else in personal finance. I want to close with something that I think is actually the most important thing I've said in this entire video, even though it has nothing to do with numbers or accounts or interest rates. Hitting $10,000 for the first time is not just a financial milestone. It is proof of something much more important. It is proof that you can do hard things, that you can delay what you want right now for what you want most, that you can build something from nothing when you make the decision to commit. The money is almost not the point. The person you had to become to save that money, that's the point. That discipline, that consistency, that ability to say no when it would have been so much easier to say yes, that is the real asset. The $10,000 is just what that asset looks like in your bank account. Now the job is straightforward. Protect it correctly by separating your safety net from your wealth seed. Eliminate whatever is bleeding you at high interest before you invest beyond your employer match. Plant the seed in the right account with the right investment and automate it so your future self doesn't depend on your present self's willpower. And then get out of the way and let time do what it does. Chris did this on $41,000 a year in Phoenix. Priya did this on $48,000 a year in Dallas. You can do this wherever you are, whatever you make, whatever your starting point looks like right now. Don't overcomplicate it. Don't wait until you know more. Don't wait until the market looks better or the timing feels right or conditions are perfect. Conditions are never perfect. The best time to follow the sequence was the day you hit $10,000. The second best time is right now. You did the hard part. You saved it. Now do the important part. Protect it, eliminate the right debt, plant it in the right place, and leave it alone. That's how regular people build real wealth. One step at a time, in the right order. I'll see you in the next one. And hey, if this video was helpful, hit subscribe. Every single week, I break down the money moves that actually build real wealth for regular people. No fluff, no filler. Just the stuff that actually moves the needle. You worked hard to find this channel. Don't lose it. Hit subscribe and I'll see you next.